It was winter on the island of Sodor. Christmas was coming up, and the engines were getting exhausted. The loads got heavier, and more people came to the island. If you were to hear Gordon, you would think that he's pulling goods the way he's grumbling about the express being overweight. One day, Edward was backing down into the sheds after a long day of work. The engines were discussing their workloads recently when the engines got bored.
I think someone should tell a story.
Yes, said Percy, a scary story.
Well, I got one, said Edward. Would you like to hear it?
Oh, yes, please, said the other engines. A long time ago, an engine used to work on this railway. It didn't really have a name, it just got the nickname Hecklehoo due to the sound it made. The engine was painted silver and looked like me, but of course the engine would take longer as it wasn't capable of me. One night, the Fat Controller, back then known as the Fat Director, ordered the engine to take a passenger train. It consisted of 3 branch line coaches, due to not many people being there. People boarded the train, and it went off soon. A blizzard started to form, especially on Christmas Eve, which is quite inconvenient. When the engines passed the second station, the blizzard had formed heavily. No one could see anything. They soon came to the signal box, but the signalman couldn't see them, nor was he informed about the engine's whereabouts. The engine ran right past the signal box. A nearby tree hung a sign with a red light saying, "Danger, viaduct working." When the driver and fireman saw it, the train crashed through the barrier, slipping down into the viaduct. There was a loud crash. Then silence fell. When the cleanup crew came the next morning, there was a sight to behold. The engine was exploded due to the impact it had with the ground, killing its crew instantly. The third coach went into the river down below. Everyone inside coach 3 drowned, and there were no survivors that night. Legend says that when there's a blizzard on a winter night and a train is pulling coaches heading over the viaduct, you will hear the engine, and whoever gets told the full story of the engine, they'll be visited by the engine next time. The engines all jumped. I hope you enjoyed the story, laughed Edward. The engines agreed, and then soon went to sleep. All except for Percy. A week later, the Fat Controller had asked Percy to bring a small passenger train to Abbey. Percy didn't mind, and it was Christmas Day after all. Percy was quickly coupled up to the train, and they soon went off. At first, the journey went fine. Percy stopped at Crosby to let off some of the passengers that wanted to leave. And then continued on with his journey, when a blizzard started forming. Cold air suddenly went all around Percy's boiler, and Percy had died of brains in fright. He came to a standstill on the viaduct. When he opened his eyes, to his horror, the engine stood in front of him. The engine just gave him a blank stare. Percy didn't dare open his eyes. The engine suddenly started to move closer and closer to Percy, until it was right in front of his buffers. Percy, who had lost his voice in a moment, suddenly refound his voice. "Oh, go away!" he shrieked. Steam soon billowed everywhere, and Percy gave a loud wheeze. When the smoke had cleared,
Percy cracked open one eye to see that the engine had disappeared. Percy was confused if what he just saw was just his imagination, or if the engine was really real. He brought the people home and went sadly back to the sheds.